Okay, no filter today. So I want to talk about, and there have been people who are skeptical of what I have to say in terms of those who don't want to be, maybe they're a mix between accountable and non accountable. For example, there can be accountable parents that have kids, so when they make mistakes or upset other people or do something intentionally to hurt other people's kids or other people's lives, there is a real thing where eventually the same thing will happen to your own children. It's very real. So there are some accountable parents where they will accept the bait so that they will, take the crap in another and not allow anything to happen to their own kids. So they're accountable. Maybe whether they realize it or not, that which they did to others is happening to them back in another form. But they're accountable. And then there's other parents that they're not accountable at all. And that energy or that doing that they did, it goes to their own kids because they're not paying it off. Now, this is not necessarily karma. This is actually, maybe you could see it as karma, but because what happens is you're setting the tone for your I personally, I live alone, so I constantly think about my upbringing, family situations, everybody has family except me type of thing. And it's like, or at the very least, some companions or real friends, which also don't exist in my life. So, at least not in the physical form. They're probably far away from me. But it's like I don't fit in the norm or category for anything with, most people. It's like, how can you even relate to them on a personal level, even if I try? Because all my life, I've been the punching bag for the sake of my family by them and from other people who they've caused harm to. Like, I've been the cleaner. I've cleaned their karma. And, even today, this morning, I'm thinking, like, fuck, like, I could have left when I was 17. I could have done this. I could have had so much money. I could have saved, because I've always been that type that just saves. Think about the future, And I'm, like, 36 years old, and I'm, like, at the very least, I would have been a lot ahead in a sense of I could have had multiple homes, Could have had a home. And the point is, like, we question things, and I remember I've always questioned things ever since I was little. I was always a questioner. That religion and teachers and family, nobody could answer my fucking questions. And it was always question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark. Until this day, it's like that, So I don't know if I'm just gibber, like fucking, you're like, what is she talking about? But guys, you have to understand, we don't really fit in the same category. So there's some things I'm planning on doing or being part of in the next several months, which is going to help establish a long-term longevity here. That's for sure. Hence why, because it hasn't been quite happened yet on the physical form, but it has been in other ways that's leading me to it. Keeps confirming that it will happen. It's just, I know there's like nothing is totally wasted, but yet at the same time it is in terms of years, but at this point I don't know what I'm saying. I think I'll just stop because it's one of those days, like the fucking new moon is coming, so I'm just like, okay, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, the two buildings are complete, right? This is the buildings for those who are living in domiks, like little shacks after the earthquake, or those who survived the earthquake, or people even from the villages who stayed in them. So there's people actually living now. If you can see, maybe you can't see. If I zoom it in. Okay. So this is my balcony. And as you can see here, oh no, it's getting all foggy. As you can see here, there's no ounce of grass. It's all dust. And that's a field. And you see all the earthquake, little stones and dust everywhere. So I open my window, dust goes flying in your mouth, in your face, in your eyes, especially in the summer. And you see this? You see that? It's all fucking ruins and stones collected. This is nothing, because I'm not showing you down there, which is even worse, behind. What is this fog? So you see that? In the mornings from 6 a.m. in the summer, the sun rises from here and comes through my curtains and drives me mentally insane. So now when this building is going to be built here, it's going to block it, thankfully. But the sun will still come through from here and from behind. But over here, it was mountains before. It was the view of all the beautiful mountains. Literally, when I bought this apartment, it was completely empty here. I think about 1 or 2 months into me being here, living here, they started building. So, you see all the little freaking pebble stones? Like, there's kids, everywhere in these buildings. Like Merken, they need some grass. When they go running, they're gonna fall, hurt themselves, It kind of looks like a facility. Government facility or some shit. Oh my goodness. Welcome to the life of Talad Lori. Everywhere she goes, she has to endure shit. So those apartments down there, that's like in the 60s Soviet times, that was all Russians. It still is, because there's Russians. So yeah, do you know what I'm saying now with there's literally no grass, no trees in my neighborhood? There's how many buildings here without, it should be like a humanitarian right where there's neighborhoods and buildings, there needs to be grass. There's no fucking grass. You can't breathe. And I'm all greenery is healing and everything, and oh my goodness, so you can only imagine what I've been enduring, and what the people endure here. But the cleanest and most greenery place in all of Gyumri is the textile area. It's called Textile. And they keep the streets very clean there. And there's new luxury buildings that are being built there. There's even some beautiful buildings, ancient ones, but also they have the Friendship Park that's coming there as well. So I've been watching this series called Discovery of Witches. I'm on season 2. Pretty interesting, I'll tell you that. In the wintertime, I like to get all hibernate, and even though outside it doesn't look like winter, because it's really warm actually. Especially if I compare it to Canada. But yeah, I think I'll stop talking now and get dressed and get back to my work. But work has been pretty slow, and I'm just... What's everyone up to, man? I want to paint this house again, but I don't want anybody in this house. Oh, there's a lot going through my mind. I'll leave it for next year, I guess. I'm still contemplating on whether I should paint it while I live here or just paint it before I move out or rent it out. One more thing. Last night was pretty freaky because it was 9:30 at night. I'm in my kitchen and I hear a guy screaming. I look out my window. I literally had food in my hand, so usually my phone, if I have my phone on me, I take photos, or video record it. And I see a guy screaming, and I see 2 guys come out of this black car, and they take bottles, glass bottles, and they start beating the shit out of this guy, and he's screaming, blood coming out of his mouth. I'm trying to, like, I run to go get my phone, they fucking run away. So the guy gets up, he goes to the next door next to my not in the same building as me, but not my door, like our front door, the one next to us on my right side. And some other guy came and lifted him up. So I went to the grocery store to see if that lady works there, because she's my neighbor. They live in the same area, you know. And I told her, I'm like, this, and they have cameras here, because ever since that incident happened with Artyom last year, and the guys, I called the police on them when I recorded them. They put cameras here. So this apartment has cameras all in the front and in the back, okay? So I'm like, okay, you guys have cameras, like, you can see everything, you know? And yeah, they beat the fucking shit out of him. And she's like, oh, that guy used to feed your dog, and Mechke and everything, poor guy or whatever. And obviously it's probably in regards to money that he owed, because in Armenia you only get beaten up like that if you owe someone money and you're not paying. So hopefully the next time I go, I hear, because that lady that works at the grocery store, she lost her husband 2021 because he owed money to Russians and they killed him. So, and I met the guy, I knew the guy, not very well, but she experienced it hands-on, you know what I mean? So she was kind of freaking out, maybe because she thought his fate would be like her husband's. So I don't know if they're all gonna, like, financially help the guy, pay the guy off so something doesn't happen to him. But, like, a lot of stuff goes on in this fucking neighborhood, man. Shit. That's why, like, if you ever see me, like, post videos of me when I'm walking the streets, I'm, like, my eyes are everywhere. Like, I look front, back, sideways. I even look back. Like, I'm constantly looking. Who's watching me? What's going on? In a split second, anything can happen. You know what I'm saying? So if you're someone that comes, I mean, don't get me wrong, Gyumri and Armenia in total is probably way safer than Canada ever was walking the streets. But the thing here in Armenia is just don't get involved in, like, money and debt with people. I wouldn't suggest it. So otherwise shit happens, you know.